Now it's time to get back to our application and continue building the community create dialog, specifically stage 3. I'm gonna punch in the value so that I can click next. Hit one more, then you're gonna see the stage 3 here. In this specific stage, we should be able to select minimum 1 topic and maximum 3 topics to help users define community we are creating better. Let's try to see what we need to implement here first. We need to have a title and description that are different from other stages. And we have search input to find topics a little easier. Let's try to search any minute. That's how it's working. And we have a list of topics using chip component. You can select and deselect. In the past 2 videos, we already created reusable chip component using Storybook. So we should be able to just drop these components into our application. Hopefully everything goes smooth. Otherwise, let's just struggle and solve it together. So now let's go to our application and open up the create community dialog. Let's punch in the value as we did and then hit next one more time. Then we probably see the error here. Let's try to tackle the problem here. In the community create dialog, line number 57, we have error reading title, right? It says cannot read the properties when defined, right? So let's go there and then check it out. Community create dialog. On the line number 57 here, title cannot be read. That is because we are accessing those property value that is an object with the title and description with the stage state, right? Let's go here with the stage, community create stage, right? We are using it as a generic type here. Let's go in. As you can see, we have a stage 1, 2, banner stage, and avatar stage. We don't have a stage 3. When we don't have a stage 3, there's no property to access. That's why the error is happening, right? What it means, we need to add stage 3 to this enum. Let's try to edit 3 equal to 3. Since we're doing it, let's add 4 as well, because this dialog has up to stage 4. Users should be able to create the community, right? I don't want to see the same error over and over again, so let's solve this one first, okay? Let's go to our code base and then fix this one. Add 4. With the 3 and 4 here, we're going to see the error now. It says we don't have a stage 3 and 4 in this, whereas our stage have up to 4, right? That's why error is happening. So I'm gonna add 2 more properties. One is for stage 3, and lastly, stage 4. Let me just try to tackle it. Yeah, stage 3 and 4. But when we click one more time, we're gonna face the same issue, right? Here, if you go to the last stage in the Reddit application, we need to render create community, right? In order to do that, we need to go to the footer of our community create dialog. Inside of here, currently we have a cancel, back, save, and next. I want to have one more that is the create community. The same as what you see in this application, right? This guy is rendered only when it's submittable. I'm going to accept it from parent. And onClick is not necessary, so I'm going to delete that for now. And this guy will be rendered only when we are on stage 4, right? Brilliant. And I'll be accepting this guy here like that. Then we need to pass that variable, right? So it's submittable. This guy will be visible only when user is on the community create stage 4. Then let's try to see what is going on here. Go here, create community, just punching in the value. Next. Yeah. You can see 3 buttons now. We need to hide this, right? Because this one is in the stage 4. So let's do this. If you go to the footer again, next button gets rendered only when is not savable and is not submittable. Yeah, let's check. Then next button is gone, right? We don't see that anymore. Let's go to stage 3, 2, 1. Next, 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 create community. Okay, awesome. One problem is solved, so I'm gonna make a quick commit. Git add, git commit, fix bug with the next button, right? And now what we need to do is updating the title and the description on 2 different stages, right? Let's do stage 3 first. In this case, we need to add the topics. I'm gonna go back to the constant again here. On the stage 3, our title will be add the topics, and description will be add up to 3 topics to help interested Redditors find your community. Let's update it like that. And stage 4 needed to have a different one. Here, what kind of community is this, right? Stage 4, like that. And description, finally. Hopefully this will be working fine. Otherwise, we're gonna fix it together, okay? Take a look. Yeah, stage 4. What kind of community is this, right? And then decide who, blah, 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 blah. And the topics. And this. And this. Okay, looking great. Except the one thing, right? This one, text is kind of cut off behind this close button, right? So I'm gonna just add a little bit of padding, not to cut off the text here, right? This one is 32 by 32, right? So I'll try to add padding right 32 pixels so that we're not gonna see this text feature bug. In the header here, I'm gonna go in and then we'll give the, sorry, it gotta be title, right? I'll give the padding right 32 pixel, which is 8. Nice. We don't see anything that is hidden by this guy, right? Yeah, looking good. Maybe we can give just a little bit more just in case, right? Let's make it, maybe, let's try to make it 9. Yeah, this way will be better. Let me check. Yeah, a little bit of that is good, right? Yeah, looking good. Now I'm gonna go back to 375. Yeah, let's see. Awesome. Then let's make another commit here. I'm gonna say git add, git commit, add title and description for stage 3 and 4. Awesome. Then now it's time to add actual content inside of the stage 3, right? Let me shut down things that we don't need, okay? In the form, I want to have a stage 3 because we needed to have data to submit the form in the future together. So I'm gonna have the stage is equal to community create stage dot 3. Then I'm gonna render something, maybe just 3 for now. Let's check here, 3 is rendered, right? Before I go to the next, I want to use variables here. is stage 1 and 2 is existing. They're from the hook user community create stage 1 is a stage 1, and stage 2 is a stage 2, right? I'm gonna create stages 3 and 4 and then reuse it over time. Let's delete this guy. We probably have, let's just search, okay? So I'm gonna just search this one and then replace everything. Inside of the hook is fine, right? Is cropping. Yeah, this one is fine. But in the community create dialog has a lot of duplication. So I'll be replacing all these, okay? We have a stage 2. We can replace this guy with the is stage 2. We already have it. And we have is stage 1. Already have it. So I gotta update it. And is stage 2. Yeah, it's more readable, right? Is a stage 1, then render the stage 1 component is a stage 2, render the stage 2, right? It's a much more readable, I would say. I'm going to copy this and then create a variable here. Later, we're going to put these into reusable hook in the future. But for now, I'm going to have the variable in this file, okay? Is a stage 3, needed to replace this guy. Yeah, looking good. And this one, you to replace the with the is stage 1. And this one, stage 4. I'm gonna copy this and then just create one more, replace it, and then change it to 4. Awesome. Then I'll be having the variable instead of this long code, right? Yeah, looking good. Yeah, stage 2. This one is fine. We can leave it as it is because nowhere else is using this, right? Awesome. So then this one is good. With this one, we're going to render the stage 3, okay? Instead of inventing the wheel, I might just copy paste one of the component, which is stage 1 in this case. Here we have a form field with a form item, form control, input, and all that, which are what we need, right? So I'll be copy pasting this component. Here, copy paste, stage 3, and then rename it to stage 3. And then let's delete things that we don't want to. We need a form field just to fold it for now. We needed just one of this. The rest, I'm gonna delete everything, okay? So in this specific component, I want to have one single form field that has a bunch of chips. Let's just delete things that we don't need. We don't need a name and description. These are for stage 1. So I'm gonna delete that. Form control, we need it because we need to pass control attributes, right? And then we needed to have the name attribute to be the topics. We're going to update our schema soon, just to bear with me. Inside of the form item, we have form control. Input is not necessary, so I'm going to delete that. And then this div tag is not necessary. Form count is not necessary. Form message is important because we want to render the error if we user select more than 3 topics, right? Delete. Something that we are not using right now, I'm gonna delete it. So then all the error is gone except this name attribute, right? Name attribute needed to be added based on our community form schema. So I'm gonna go here. We have a name, description, banner, and avatar. These are for stage 1 and 2. Now for the stage 3, I'm gonna add the topics. Topics will be array and then the value of the element inside of the array will be string. The reason why I do string is I already mentioned in the past videos, all the values from the HTML element are strings because we want to store the value from HTML element directly. So I decided to use this guy. And then I want to have maximum 3 topics only. Other one is I'm going to render the error message that is matching with the application. Let's try to go to stage 3 and try to select the 4th one. Then you're going to see this error message. Only 3 topics can be edited. I'll be using this text exactly the same like that. I think the rest seems good. One thing I want to change here is just changing to error. We used to have a message like this in the version 3, but incremented the version to 4. So I'm going to change to error. Yeah, looking good. With this one, we can now add topics. Whatever the value that we are getting it from here will be based on the topics in our schema. Now it's time to add all these, right? For now, I'm going to add the topics first, since we already have them ready inside of the storybook. So what I want to do is go to the chip.stories and then find the story. What was the story name? Subgroup, right? Inside of the subgroup story, right here, I'm going to copy whole thing, okay? Copy whole thing and then paste inside phone item for now, okay? We need to update it. Just bear with me, okay? Because phone control can have only one child. That's why I needed to paste it here first. Group title. And then we have a chip group that iterating the items to render, let me see, this guy. We have a 2 chip group, right? One is for selected one, and then one is for the whole topics. I'll be putting this guy into phone control. Let me just fold it here. Yeah, phone control. And then the rest, it's quite a lot of stuff is going on. Let me save it. Let's delete this. First, the chip group, I'm going to fold it, which is inside of the phone control. And then the rest the chip group, I'm going to move it above phone control. Okay. Yeah. And then error message needed to be between the topic that are selected and the whole bunch of chip, right? So I'm going to put it here. Then now it's time to replace those missing variables, right? It says items and set items. We don't have user state hook. Instead, we have values managed using this form. This render attribute is a function, and field attribute, which is parameter, will have value and onChange function. This value is the list of strings based on our schema right here. Okay, this schema is saying, hey, this is an array that includes strings, right? So that is, very convenient. And onChange function is to update the value. This one is setter and this one is getter. You can think it that way. I might just rename it to topics so that it'll be a little bit more readable. So we're going to have topics.lengths over 3 to render this specific section, okay? And with the topics, I'm gonna pass the values, that is topics, and onChange function to onChange. And we'll be iterating the topics, which are selected values, okay? Yeah, then the first ChipGroup is done, which is great. Here inside of form control, we are rendering whole bunch right here. We needed to even scroll down to see everything, right? So how I get all these is using AI. I was able to create the object based on this DOM element right here. What I did is just selecting whole thing here and then copy the whole element and then ask them to create an object to render this, okay? At the end of the day, what I got is this object. I'm gonna show you here, just a second. What I got is this. I'm gonna paste it here for now, but we'll move it to right place. So in this specific variable, we have an array that includes, the main topic, which is animation and cosplay. In this case, this, right? That include topics, which are anime and manga and cosplay. So this is a structure that I'm going to work with. I think I can definitely live with this structure, and then I'll be handling most of stuff from the backend, okay? So using this, I'm gonna iterate and render the value, okay? So we have two different subgroups based on what I see. I'm gonna delete one because I just need one to render our topics data. So what I would do is I'm gonna iterate topics data map. I'm gonna say it's a data, and then, oops, let me forward it again. This whole chip group here, okay? It's just saying we need to pass the key, yeah, and then pass the data.id, like that. Here, instead of saying data.something, what I would do is destructuring it and then get the values inside of the object directly like this. It's a little bit easier, right? So here, emoji need to be rendered. In this case, I would just give the span tag and then pass emoji. And title need to be rendered in the span tag too. Yeah, like that. And then instead of this hard-coded one, I'm gonna render the topics. Okay, the topics are just a list of strings, and then we are rendering these values like this. Okay, yeah, looking like that. I think after replacing these values, I think everything should be good. I'm gonna pass the topics onChange. Yeah, after this, hopefully everything is looking good. Let's just check first, right? All the error is gone. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I think I didn't import. Let's import the first. Community create stage 3, right? Need to be imported right here. And then we need to pass missing attribute, right? Form control, which is form.control. Awesome. Then let's check. It says community create stage is not defined. Oh, I thought I imported it. Let me check again. Yeah, it's imported. Maybe I just need to refresh. Interesting. It takes a little bit longer. Let me restart the application. Sometimes it does that. Okay. Come on. Yeah, open up. Just to punch in the value. We have another error. Cannot read the properties of undefined reading lengths, right? Inside of the create community stage 3, line number 30. So let's go over there. Line number 30, which is here. The topics, I see. So initial value needed to be an array, but we don't have that, right? So this initial value is managed in the form. If you scroll up, the form that we are passing is here. Then if you go in, then we can pass the initial value. That is topics empty string. Yeah, hopefully this guy fixes it. If not, too bad. Awesome. Now things are rendered, but it is very, very long element now. Because we have too many different chip items, right? In this case, like here, right, we're adding the scroll, right? Let's try to see what is the height. Maximum height is 250 pixel, right? So I will try to mimic it. Inside of the stage 3 component, right here, we have second chip group. And here, I'm going to give the class name. I'm going to give maximum height of 250 pixel. And I'm going to make it overflow auto. Let's check. Awesome. Yeah, looking good. Is it similar? Yeah, summer business thing showing up. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good, the same thing. It has a little bit more stuff because of the error, but when we see it this way, let me check. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good. Spacing difference is existing, but I like this better than the other, right? The spacing is too narrow here. I want to have at least one REM. Yeah, so this one is good. Awesome. If you don't like this looking, you can add some blurry element to show that it's a scrollable, and then modify this scroll bar if you want to. But I don't want to spend too much time in there for now. So let's focus on what we need to do first, okay? Yeah, I can select, and then things are showing up, right? But we have a couple of things that we need to work on, right? We should not allow user to select more than 3. And then we don't see the error neither, right? There are a couple of problems we need to solve. I think it's a pretty doable. First of all, we need to know why the validation logic is not triggering right away. That is the first thing, right? That is because inside of the form, we have configured mode to be untouched, right? That's why. But if we change it to all or unchanged, I think this will work. Let me check. Yeah, it works. But it's gonna keep adding, right? The error message is showing up at least. Let me just try to remove to 3. Error is gone, right? But if we do that, then we're gonna have a problem on the stage 1. We did it with the purpose, right? If we just shut down everything, we don't want to see this error message on initial typing. But currently, on initial typing, it shows error, right? I want to show the error only after the first blur, right? So that's what untouched is doing it for us, right? So that's why we added this one. Let me try one more time. Oops, what happened? Let me try again. Yeah, no error is showing up, right? But after the first blur, we start to see the errors, right? This is what we want, right? So we added this with the purpose. What it means, we need to handle it separately. We should not rely on this form object to trigger the validation directly. we need to do slightly different. Anyway, we show the error, but we are adding the forced chip, right? We should not allow that anyway. So we need to have a separate logic to handle the error here. So what I would do is when onChange function is called, I want to handle it differently. So we're receiving the values from onChange and they pass directly to this onChange function. Instead, what I would do is I'm gonna have additional logic here. Receive the values and then pass here. And then I'm gonna say if the values dot length is greater than 3, I don't wanna call the onChange. Only not greater than I want to call this. If the value length is greater than 3, then I want to send the error. I'm gonna say on topic error. This one will be optional down the road. And then I'm gonna have instance of the error with the message. In this case, we can just use the error message showing up in the Reddit application. Yeah, this one. I want to use this guy. We don't need to use this specific one. Let me think, okay? So for now, I'm just gonna call it and then deal with it later. So what it means, we should be able to receive it. I'm gonna say on topic error, I'm gonna make it optional. It is a function, returns void for now. And for now, we are not gonna pass any parameter and then see how things will go, okay? Let me check. Values the length is greater than 3, then we're gonna throw on topic error, otherwise called onChange. With that, I'm gonna pass the on topic error, which will be a function. Inside here, I'm gonna trigger the validation. If you look at this form here, we can trigger it. I'm gonna show you what I mean by that. Here we can do form.trigger. And then we need to pass topics here. Then we should be able to see the error. Let me just quickly check here. So here, now if I add one more, as you can see, we are seeing the error, right? This is what we want. And then when we delete it, it's still existing, right? So what it means, we needed to have one more handler from parent component. Maybe I'm gonna say on topic change, and then I'm gonna call it here. This will be also an optional. And here I'm gonna have on topic change like that. But I don't know if I need to pass the topics or not. This one will be list of strings like that. But let's see. Okay, I'm not sure if I need this. Based on current situation, we would not need it. But just in case, let's pass it, okay? So here, I'm gonna do that. When topic change is made, then we also need to trigger the validation. So I'm gonna do on topic change. This will be also in function form.trigger. This one also will be topics. Let's try to add one more. Weird, interesting. We should have triggered the error somehow. Let me just quickly check. Topics. And value is greater than 3. We need to trigger the topic error. But somehow it does not work. Let me just quickly debug here. It was stage 3, right? Inside here, when onChange function is called, I'm gonna put breakpoint. Then when you click it, then the value that you're receiving is 4 different elements, right? Then we are calling the on-topic error, right? Then when on-topic error is called, let me just go over there. It should be in the dialog, the community create dialog, this one. Then we should call this, right? On-topic error. Let me check. Yeah, we're calling it form.topic. Maybe I'm gonna put a breakpoint here too. Oh, it doesn't allow me to. Yeah, but error is not being edited. Interesting. Maybe let me refresh and then do it one more time. Sorry. I'm gonna put a breakpoint here too. 1. Yeah, now it's working good. And then trigger the on topic change, right? And then do one word, and one more. So this time it's gonna call on topic error, call the on topic error, but error is not showing up. That is because we are not adding this one, right? Now I see what is the problem. Because we don't have values that are 4 in our form. Then in this case, what we need to do is form.set error. We need to do that. 2 topics. And then pass the value. Let me think. Yeah, I think it should be good. Let me just try. Let me make it work first and then continue, okay? We can refactor, but for now, I'm gonna make it work first. Okay? It gotta be an object. Let me try. Set error message. That is this. Yeah, so for now, hard coding like this. If you don't like this hard coding, you can get the error message from it, okay? I don't like this hard code. And this guy needed to be instance of the error. So what I would do is when I call this, I'm gonna create the new instance of the error that has a string like. Then when we call this, we're gonna pass the parameter that is error. Then error dot message. Let me go to the form schema. Inside of form schema, we have max 3 here, but we will never have a chance to get the element more than 3, right? Because we are preventing it with the logics, right? Yeah, because we don't want to see the 4 different topics selected ever. Yeah, this is necessary logic, I think. Yeah, like that, right? Yeah, I'm fine with that. I will leave with this. And then if I delete 1, it's still here, but it's supposed to be gone from the trigger topics. I think this guy should go. Yeah, this guy doesn't get triggered now. I don't know why. Let's fix it. Yeah, I know it's a little bit confusing, but bear with me, okay? So then here, if it's less than or equal to 3, then we're gonna call on topic changes, right? When on topic changes, then we're gonna trigger the topics validation again, right? Is it because it's a promise? I'm not sure. Let me check, okay? So refresh again, and then let's try again, okay? Here, add a value. I don't want to have here. This one is good. And this one is good. And one more. And one more. So we see the error now. But when I delete 1, Okay, it's gone. Now I see. The problem we have is when we click it here, it's fine, right? And then we can remove the error. But when we click it here, we don't remove the error because we don't have the logic over there, right? We only have logic inside of the chip group that is underneath, right? We have this, that's why. Then we need to add logic to this onChange function too, right? But we'll never have to call this here because we are gonna only remove it. So here, what I would do is I'm gonna copy the whole thing here, but logic will be a little bit different. We don't need to worry about these. We just needed to do that. Yeah, I think this will do the job. Let me test one more. So then now, when I add more than 3, then we are gonna see the error. I can delete it using this, and then I can click this to update it. Okay, so I think logic-wise, it's pretty good, right? It's working okay based on what I see. And then we should not move to the next when we don't have any topics, but currently we can move. Yeah, a couple of things. So let's fix the UI here first. I want to give the minimum height here, okay? So here I'm gonna have, I don't know, maybe here when I edit, and then with the error message, I'm gonna delete the minimum height of this for now. Let's go to code base. We have chip group that has minimum height here. I'm gonna delete that for now, okay? Delete it. And then here we have a little bit of spacing underneath, right? Let me just take a look how it's looking. So when there's an error, let me refresh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's a spacing here. I need to check here. Yeah, there's the margin, right? I'm gonna delete the margin. But to remove this margin, okay, so this one is looking okay. Spacing wise, I think this is already okay based on what I see. But when I delete everything, content start to shift, right? So I'm gonna have this specific section height. So what I would do is I'm gonna wrap this title in chip group and phone message here. I'm gonna wrap it. Then I should be able to select all these 3 together, right? And they don't have gaps, right? But these guys may need it. So this div, right? I want to have a minimum height of this. To do that, I'm gonna have class name here, and then give the maybe grid for now, and then gap of 1 for each element. Then we have gaps, right? Looking good. And then this guy height is 84 pixel. So I'm gonna give minimum height of 84 pixel. Then this guy content should not be shifting. I see. Because it is grid still shifting, right? In this case, let's change it to flex. And then flex colon. Yeah, when I delete this, yeah, content is not shifting. Yeah, but content is shifting only when the content is overflowing, right? But if you're selecting the small ones, it should not overflow, right? Okay, this one is good. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it this way. And then what else? I think here is good for now, right? So I'm gonna make a quick commit and then do a little bit more, okay? So git add, git commit, add ChipGroup, okay? What else? We need to prevent the user move to the next, right? So we need to have certain logic here. I'm gonna go to create dialog here. On the next button, on next, handle next is here, right? Handle next is coming from stage 1, right? Let me check. Handle next is this, right? Next to disabled is here. Is stage 1 invalid, right? We need to have is stage 3 invalid too. So here, I'm gonna create a variable called is stage 3 invalid. This logic needs to be is stage 3 is true, and the at least one value needed to be there, right? So what I would do is I'm gonna have this structure form.what to get the latest variable value, which is topics. If topics.length is less than 1, I'm not gonna allow user to click next. So let's do this. Let me try. So next is disabled when is stage 1 invalid or is stage 3 invalid. Okay. Then let's take a look. Look at that. It's disabled, right? I need to have a little bit of styling update, but at least it's disabled. But when I click 1, then I can move to the next, right? Yep, looking good. Let's quickly fix this next button state here. Mouse cursor should be not allowed, right? So I'm gonna go to the button inside of the footer. Next button should be here, right? So when it is disabled, we needed to update the styling, right? So I'm gonna go here. Disabled, we change the colors, but we are not changing the mouse cursor, right? Cursor not allowed. Let me check if it's gonna do the job, okay? Look at that. Okay, nice. This is what we want. Awesome. But when we have 1, we can move to the next. Okay. So then we can do git add, git commit, disable next button when topic is less than 1. Okay. This one is also good now. Then I think we need to have an input element, right? Here. This one I'm gonna leave it for the next video. It's already too long, so I think I need to wrap it up. Okay, so then thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye now.